Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another video. This time, as the title suggests, we are looking at CD Projekt Red's apology video. Now, I saw many in the community discuss this. I personally haven't watched it yet. I will be reacting it alongside with you. So this will be a news and reaction type of videos. First of its kind, technically for me. But yes, I'd love to. This is kind of interesting because CD Projekt Red hasn't done the best with their current game, Cyberpunk 2077. Now, if you've been living under a rock for, I don't know, countless months now, Cyberpunk 2077 released in a unacceptable state. Like, you're a games publisher now, and you're also a games developer. This is unacceptable for a company that says it's a company for the people, quote unquote. You're not doing that. You're not doing that in any sort of way. So with that in mind, we will have to check out this apology video. Though, to start things off, I will say this: I'm sick and tired of CD Projekt Red apologising for something. Don't just say it with words anymore. It's getting ridiculous. Saying that you're sorry and not doing anything about it, that's not a real apology. Take action to your words. Take action. Don't just say shit anymore. Because your first apology, sure. Yeah, you delayed it. That was because you wanted to create a good game. But you still released it in an unacceptable way. This obviously needed a couple more months of bug testing and everything like that. Now, worst of all, I heard reports that the people inside CD Projekt Red are being crunched like there's no tomorrow. This is unacceptable. Unacceptable behaviour from a AAA development studio. Now, of course, you're going to say to me, well, it's not Game 12. There are other studios out there that do crunch. Of course, there are. But it's still unacceptable, no matter what company you may be. Even if Bethesda, my favourite publisher, now taken out the race by Microsoft, are still one of those things where it's still unacceptable to have crunch. Now let's actually get into the video, because I've been talking way too much throughout the beginning of this, and actually get our thoughts out there. And this is the video that we're going to watch today, Cyberpunk 2077, Our Commitment to Quality. Now, if you've played Cyberpunk 2077 on either Xbox One, PS4, or even PS5 when it first released, you're going to just think to yourself, nah, what commitment to quality is there? Now this will be interesting. I want, of course, as I keep saying in each video by the end of it, comment what you believe to be, what do you get out of this? Do you think that they're sorry? Do you think that possibly, I don't know, we'll see.
Hey everyone, my name is Marcin Iwiński and I'm the
Give me a second, I just realised I'm way too loud.
co-founder of CD Projekt. When I started CD Projekt 25 years ago, one of its founding principles was honest and direct communication with gamers.
Maybe one of the qualities that it started off with. Nowadays, that seems not to be the case. But continue.
When CD Projekt Red, the game development part of CD Projekt, was born, it added something important to that principle, the ambition to make the best games in the world. It became our mission and something that guided us up until now.
Now, isn't that technically the idea of most game companies, except for EA and Take-Two and Activision and Blizzard? Now I can see where he's going with this now.
Based on that legacy of genuine and honest communication, you've trusted us and pre-ordered our game. And despite good reviews on PC, the console version of Cyberpunk 2077 did not meet the quality standard we wanted it to meet. I and the entire leadership team are deeply sorry for this, and this video is me publicly owning up to that.
Now, interestingly, you wouldn't see the likes of Andrew Wilson or even Bobby Kotick Bobby Kotick, even own up to the mistakes of their previous games. I like this guy for what he stood out to be. What can I what I can say is that is it possibly a little too late for that? For me, it kind of is.
Please don't fault any of our teams for what happened. They all are incredibly talented and hardworking. Myself and the board are the final decision makers, and it was our call to release the game. Although, believe me, we never ever intended for anything like this to happen.
Now, this needs to be said because I've seen some absolute twats on the internet trying to have a go at the development team of Cyberpunk 2077. They do not have anything to do with this. I've seen people get sent death threats and everything in between. They, like they said, had nothing to do with how the final product really turned out. They obviously needed a couple more months to do everything. In fact, it probably needed a year or two to get everything that they planned to do to add into it. So, all of you idiots out there who think it's a good idea to send death threats to developers, get the fuck out. Get the fuck out.
I assure you that we'll do our best to regain your trust. Now I'd like to tell you how the situation looked like from the inside. Cyberpunk 2077 is huge in scope, and I'm not only talking about quests or things you see at first glance. I'm talking about a multitude of custom objects, interacting systems, and mechanics. In the game, everything is not stretched out over flat terrain where we can make things less taxing hardware-wise, but condensed in one big city and in a relatively loading-free environment. On its own, this is a challenge, but we made it even more difficult for ourselves by wanting to make the game look epic on PCs and then adjusting it to console.
Now, interestingly enough, if you didn't know much about game development, it is really tricky to have like you see these open worlds by Ubisoft, you think, oh, they're just so plain and they're overused and everything like that. I give props where props are due. Yes, Ubisoft has its own problem with tons of other stuff, with how they deal with business and everything like that. I will say that is ridiculous. But how they do their games with creating a massive open world, and I'm not joking you, with Odyssey being one of the biggest worlds I've ever experienced in my life, I give praise to them where their open world is concerned. Because they've got, while it doesn't have as many small and interesting assets, what they call assets, so it's like literally the things you see on the floor, like the hundreds and hundreds of dildos on the floor. Good God, man! The one thing I will say about Cyberpunk 2077, the whole world's fucking horny as shit, mate. But yes, I do understand their struggle, but it's still unacceptable to release a game even if you're ambitious. Then scale back the ambitiousness with the idea of telling your customers that these ideas that you were promised are now not in the game because of restrictions of the old technology.
Especially old gens. That was our core assumption, and things did not look super difficult at first. We knew the hardware gap, yes, but ultimately, I think that time has proven that we've underestimated the task. To give a concrete example, and the main culprit, we had to constantly improve our in-game streaming system for all gen consoles. Streaming is responsible for feeding the engine with what you see on screen, as well as the game mechanics. And since the city is so packed and the disk bandwidth of all gens is what it is, it constantly challenged us. Every change and improvement needed to be tested, and as it turned out, our testing did not show a big part of the issues you experience while playing the game.
Now, interestingly enough, I've done a little bit of bug testing in the past for a couple of companies here and there, yes, even EA from time to time, they will extensively do research on all this sort of stuff, try to make the least buggiest game possible. And of course, Cyberpunk is fucking huge, and there's tons of stuff to see, explore, anything like that, and I completely understand. And of course, when you're thinking of big open world games, the other company you think of, Bethesda, and them and Bugs, they're like a married couple sort of thing. But with this, at least with Bethesda games, when they out for the open for the public, at least they fucking work and don't crash every fucking 5 seconds. Except for 76. But we don't talk about that. Bethesda fans don't talk about that.
As we got closer to the final release, we saw significant improvements each and every day, and we really believed we would deliver in the final Day Zero update. Now let's talk about the review process. We started sending our PC review keys in the first days of December. On launch day, December 10th, we hit the ground running with a really good start on PC. While not perfect, it's a version of Cyberpunk we are very proud of. At the same time, we're fighting for quality on all-gen consoles till the very last moment. And every extra day of us working on the Day Zero update brought visible improvement.
All I can say is that it's unacceptable. The review process that you made that backfired on you so hard that is unacceptable to most companies, even to the likes of EA, when you're so much worse than EA. Look at yourself. Look at what you've done wrong. What's happened with the review system? Okay, let's review the review. You told reviewers that they can't use their own footage. You had to use the footage that were already out to the public. What? You didn't send out console copies because you knew that the game was broken. And more importantly, you knew about just how broken the PS5 version was. The PS4, the whole thing was just... It looked like a PS2 game. It looked like an Xbox original game. It was horrendous. So no, you do not get a pass in this. You do not get a pass, no matter what fucking excuse you have.
This is why we started sending console review keys on the 8th of December, which was later than we originally planned. This all happened while working from home with all the challenges resulting from the COVID-related restrictions.
You do not get a pass because you started at COVID. I understand that COVID has affected game development. Of course I understand. The whole point of game development is that you're there as a team discussing all the points and everything like that. You need to be there as a group. I completely understand that. I have a background in games. I do understand. But what is unacceptable is that you're blaming the idea of the review system on COVID. No. That is not on COVID. That is on you. It's like me saying, "Oh yeah, why didn't you take out the trash today, Reese?" COVID? Yeah, that COVID sounds like a good excuse.
A lot of the dynamics we normally take for granted got lost over video calls or email, and we took that hit too. Now I'd like to tell you about our plans for the future and present a path for Cyberpunk 2077 on consoles and PC. We have already released 3 hotfixes improving the game, but that's just the beginning. Our ultimate goal is to fix the bugs and crashes gamers are experiencing across platforms. Please expect bigger and smaller patches on a regular basis. The first update will be dropping within 10 days, and it will be followed by another, more significant one in the following weeks. We will, of course, continue to work on the game in future updates and improvements beyond that. Our big plans for supporting Cyberpunk in the long term did not change. As for the free DLC,
Now, I would like to make an apology here. I didn't use this. I didn't use the viewer. I shouldn't have. I should have increased it. That's my fault. But more importantly, this is what I was kind of expecting. This, while I don't think the video was needed, about how he's just using. Well, I think yes, he is using it to say I am sorry, but he used so many excuses so far. It's not even a real apology. Until you hit this bit, this is where they're gonna do it. Okay, so let's look at this properly. Obviously, we went past this. We've got the 3 hot fixes, as he said, 1.0, 1.5, and 1.6. I think what was said was 1.4 was fine, 1.5 broke things, and 1.6 fixed the 1.5. So we're back to 1.4 technically. Now patch 1.1 and patch 1.2 will be interesting to see if they finally fix the issues overall. And there will be small patches, and one of them in 10 days, they said, when this was released. So January 23rd was when you should expect the first major patch. Good. Patch 1.2 probably be a month afterwards, so I'm guessing February 20th at the very minimum, which is good. I'm happy with that. Now, multiple updates and improvements. 3 DLCs are somewhere between, like, we're talking May time. Which is fine. Fine and all. But then I look over here. Free next gen console update, and it looks to me like in the second half of 2021. No, this is not acceptable. This should be the other way round. You should be focusing on free next gen console updates before you do free DLCs. This is unacceptable for people who have the PS5 and Xbox Series X's and S's. This is unacceptable. So, this does annoy me. But hold on, let me see what he says.
Our initial plan was to deliver them just after the release, much like we did with The Witcher 3. We decided to focus on the most important fixes and updates first, and we'll be releasing the DLCs afterwards. Expect more information in the upcoming months. For those of you playing on next-gen consoles in back compatibility, you can still expect the free next-gen update for Xbox Series consoles and PlayStation 5 arriving in 2021. We are aiming at the second half of the year. I'd like to end this video.
Like I said, it should be the other way around. The first thing you should be focusing on is the next-gen upgrade. The free DLCs are a bonus, okay? That is great and all, but that's not what you should be focusing on. Making sure the game works and the overall fidelity of it looks alright, that should be your priority.
By assuring you that we treat this entire situation very seriously and are working hard to make it right. The guiding principles of our company are still core to what we do. We still want to make amazing games and have an open communication with you, our players.
I think that's most companies, mate. That's most of them. At the end of the day, I say that and I'll just admit that's fine.
Now, our immediate focus is to work hard on making sure you enjoy Cyberpunk 2077 regardless of platform. Beyond Cyberpunk, we have many plans for the future, which we'll share more about when we're ready. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video.
This video was created in English, so only the English version fully reflects our message. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm surprised they didn't do it in Polish, to be fair. They are a Polish company and all. But yeah, I'm conflicted on this. I am really conflicted on what do I say to this. I liked the fact that they said that it's all on the board of directors. I do agree that that should be said. I do like how they proposed issues that they're gonna fix. That's all the things I really liked about it. I'm annoyed that they still used excuses in the apology video. That is not what should happen. You should just say you're sorry. Make sure you have ways to amend what you've done. And that's it. Don't make excuses. Make sure you always continue forward. With that in mind, though, so all I can really say about this is that CD Projekt Red, as much as I enjoyed the game, the main game itself, I think a lot of people will say the main game itself is really good. The bugs is unacceptable from whatever company you may or may not work for. So, okay, thank you. This is probably cool at the end of the video, but thank you so much for watching. I'd love to know your opinions. If you've got any opinions that maybe you disagree with me, I'd love to know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, click the like button. If you didn't enjoy the video, click the dislike button. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I will see you on the next video. Bye now!